will import documents from mongoose. I will also import object ID from mongodb. Then I will create an interface book document which I will export from this file. This interface will extend the document which can be imported from mongoose, and on this interface I will define an underscore id property which will be of type object ID. It will also have a title property which will be a string, an ISBN property which will be a string. It will have a page property which will be a number, and is published property which will be a string, a created alt property which will be a string, and an updated alt property which will also be a string. I will define and export another interface author document which also extends from the document interface. It will have an underscore id property which is of type object ID, a name property which is a string, and an email property which is also a string. Now let's define the schema, starting with the author schema. I will create a new file author.cs which sits inside of a schema folder which sits inside of a data folder. Inside this file I will import the author document from the types file. I will also import schema from mongoose. Next I will create an author schema, and this schema is going to be a much more complex schema as opposed to the schema we created in the last video. This schema will have error messages for handling field validation. First of all, the schema will have a name property which is required, and a required property is going to be an array in this instance. This time the first value is going to be true, and then a string is going to be the next value which reads please provide the name of the author. This is in case we try to create an author without providing the name property. We are going to get this error message, please provide the name of the author. The next is to define the type of this name property which will be a string. The author schema will also have an email property which will be required. The required property will also be an array with the first value being true and the second value being a string. Please provide the email of the author. The type will be a string, and the email property will have a unique property which is an array. The first value will be true, and then the second value will be a string. Author with that email already exists. This ensures that no two author documents have the same email. I will add a trim property which will be set to true, and this trims off any leading spaces in the email string when we try to create a new author with an email and a name. I will set the lowercase property to true, and this ensures that the email string is saved as lowercase values. I will also add a validate property whose value will be an array. This first value inside this array will be a function which accepts an argument v which is a string. This v is going to be the password string, and then I will return a validation check where I use an email regular expression pattern to validate the email string. This ensures that all author documents have a valid email. If the validation fails, I will add a string which reads please provide a valid email address. Next, I'm going to export this author schema as default from this file.